ancient Romans invented a lot of extremely influential and extraordinary things, such as central heating and even concrete. Today, we're going back in time to take a look at some of ancient Rome's greatest contributions. So let's begin. Here are the top 15 most incredible ancient Roman inventions. Number 15. Aqueducts. It's next to impossible to think of ancient Rome without thinking of aqueducts. As the Roman Empire expanded and cities grew, the ancient Romans saw the need for fresh water. The ancient Romans weren't the first ancient civilization to use aqueducts. Both ancient Egypt and India used them. However, the ancient Romans invented a system of aqueducts that was far superior. The system was built from around 312 BC to around 226 AD, and at completion, there were more than 480 miles of aqueducts, delivering roughly 300 million gallons of water per day. The aqueducts ran both above and below ground and were extraordinarily strong and relied mostly on gravity to transport the water. But even when the water had to travel uphill, they had an invention for that. They invented the inverted siphon, which basically was a system of high-pressured pipelines. The aqueducts and the fresh water that they provided are considered one of ancient Rome's most significant and influential inventions. Number 14. The hypocaust. It could get pretty chilly in ancient Rome, especially since apartments were made of cement, so the ancient Romans invented a way to warm their houses. Hypocausts were a system of central heating, and they're actually the predecessor to modern central heating. Hypocausts were typically used in private homes, but they were also used in public buildings as a way to warm up public baths. Basically, a hypocaust was a system of hollow chambers that were built between the ground and the bottom of the room. The heat came from a furnace that stood at one end of the room. The hot air from the furnace would flow through the open spaces and then up to heat the floors. Hypocausts were sometimes also built into the walls to heat them up too. The system was pretty ingenious and it worked really well, so well that we still use similar systems today. Number 13. Bound books. Codex. If you enjoy curling up with a good book, then you have the ancient Romans to thank for that. The Romans invented the very first bound book, called a codex. The book was commissioned by Julius Caesar, who wanted a more manageable way to keep his information safe and secure. Before bound books, information was either carved onto something like clay slabs or written on long scrolls. And you can well imagine clay slabs could easily be ruined, so the information on them was easily lost. And scrolls, well, they could be as long as 32 feet, which wasn't very convenient since they had to be unrolled to be read. So the first bound books were born. The books had a cover to protect the pages and were papyrus pages. The pages were numbered with a table of contents so the reader could find the information quickly and easily. Needless to